Hello students, welcome to today class. Today topic is non-communicable disease. Last class we discussed about communicable disease, and this class we're going to study some of important non-communicable disorders. Okay, as we all know, what is non-communicable disorders? The diseases which is not spread to person, isn't it? That we call non-communicable diseases. Okay, what are the examples for the non-communicable diseases? Diabetic mellitus, hypertension, cardiovascular disorders, rheumatic heart diseases, blindness, so on. Okay, we'll see one by one now. Diabetic mellitus. What is diabetes mellitus? Is nothing but is a metabolic disorder. Okay, it is a carbohydrate metabolic disorder. In this, the body is unable to use the glucose for the energy. Why? Due to the inadequate amount of insulin in the body. The first is either is an inadequate insulin. Okay, otherwise in the body insulin is there, but loss of sensitivity to the insulin. Okay, the loss of sensitivity to the insulin. Either the body is not at all produce a sufficient insulin. Clear? There are two causes. One, the pancreas is not produce a adequate amount of insulin. Otherwise, the insulin is there, but the body is not sensitivity to the insulin. That is the two causes. Okay, inadequate amount of insulin in the body or loss of sensitive to hormone insulin. Clear? So, what are the characteristics? The characteristics of diabetic mellitus is also called as a hyperglycemia. Okay, what is that? Hyperglycemia with the glycosuria. Glycosuria means the presence of a glucose in the urine. Okay, so it is characterized by hyperglycemia means what? Increase glucose level in the blood. Glycosuria means glucose in the urine. Next, lack of insulin in the body affects the carbohydrate, fat, protein and water electrolytes. They're going to be affect these metabolic indirectly. Okay. Next we'll see what are the causes and risk factors. Okay. The risk factors are age. Isn't it? After it is very more common in the elder people. Old age is very common. Right now after 45 or 50 it will come. Most probably. Right. Then the genetical factors, obesity, bad lifestyle. Okay. Bad lifestyle means what? Smoking, isn't it? No, the malnutrition, then the viral infection, stress, alcohol abuse and excessive use of corticosteroids. These are all the risk factors for the diabetic mellitus. Next we'll see what are the signs and symptoms. Okay, polyuria, polydipsia, polyphagia. Easy to remember, no? What is polyuria? Excessive urination. What do you mean by polydipsia? Excessive thirst and dry mouth. We call polydipsia. Polyphagia means increased hunger. You have seen, no? Who are having diabetic mellitus, they have sweating, profound sweating is there, frequent urgency of urine is there, and they want to eat more, right? That we call polyphagia. Then if they are eating more also, they have lack of energy. Okay, then blurred vision, delayed wound healing is very common. Then the burning sensation of the feet, weakness and the fatigue. These are the signs and symptoms. What are the complications? Short-term complications. Short-term complications means what? As I told, is dyspepsia is there, polyphagia is there. So no, that's all the complication for them. Then what we can say, some of the people getting weight loss, that all the short-term complications. And what are the long-term complications? All the pathies only. What are the pathies here? Retinopathy, neuropathy, nephropathy and the heart disease. What do you mean by retinopathy? Retina, it is related to eye, isn't it? That if you're not at all treating the diabetic perfectly, or you're not taking treatment for the diabetic mellitus, that will affect the multiple organs in our body. All organs get worsened. Clear? So if you're not take the proper treatment for the diabetic patients are not at all taking treatment, means this is the complications. Okay, retinopathy means eye conditions, okay, eye disorders, neuropathy examples, loss of sensation, burning feet and all, okay. Nephropathy means it is affect the kidney. Then heart diseases, hypertension will come. Clear now? This is the complications of a diabetic mellitus. Next, we'll see how to prevent and how to control. The primary prevention by maintaining the normal body weight. How? Adopting the healthy habit, balancing diet and the regular exercises, as well as avoiding alcohol, avoiding smoking tobacco and avoiding stress. Then, secondary prevention. What is the secondary preventions? The patient should take his care according to the medical advice. Whatever the doctor going to be advised, what the nurse is going to be educated, they have to follow in such a way, okay. Then by maintaining the normal body glucose level, how? Using a insulin, the proper diet, diabetic diet they have to follow. Then using a oral anti-diabetic drugs, it is ordered by the physician, okay. Then the patient should take care of his skin and the feet wounds is very important, because as I told before, they don't have any sensations properly. If something is prick also, they don't know, they don't aware of that, okay. So they have to take care of their feet very well, as well as the skin also, because the wound healing is very delayed, isn't it? Then proper treatment for the diabetic complications. If they have any neuropathy, eye problem, blurring eye is there, they have to take a proper treatment there only. Otherwise, the complications become worsen. Then by establishing the diabetic clinics. So many clinics are available based on the technologies improved, isn't it? No, this are the preventive measures. Then what are the management, drug management, okay. Insulin, then the oral a hypoglycemic agent. What are the example for oral hypoglycemic agent? You just write metformin or chlorpheniramine, okay, that's enough. Then next non-communicable disease is a cardiovascular diseases, okay, related to heart, isn't it? In that we have three main diseases, okay, disorders. What are those? Hypertension, coronary artery diseases and the rheumatic heart diseases, okay. In the cardiovascular diseases we have three main diseases, that is hypertension, coronary artery diseases and the rheumatic heart diseases. We'll see hypertension now. What is the hypertension is defined as blood pressure higher than normal blood pressure. What is the normal blood pressure? 120 by 80 mm of Hg, isn't it? It is beyond this normal level that we call hypertension. And we have two types, primary hypertension and secondary hypertension. So in the primary hypertension, we'll see in the next slide. Okay, next slide I will going to explain you what is primary and what is secondary, what are the risk factors and all. Now you'll see what are the common symptoms. Headache is there. For the hypertension people, headache is there. Palpitation, they can feel some, a small heart sound, heartbeat they feel, that we call palpitation, okay. Then the tiredness and light-headedness, okay, that we call common symptoms for the hypertension. Okay, then primary hypertension, no. So for a primary hypertension, what are the risk factors? What are the causative factors? Hereditary. So always the primary hypertension will come from the hereditary. If the grandfather had, otherwise if the father is a hypertension, we don't know whether maybe the son or the grandchildren may get this hypertension. So if we call hereditary, okay. Then the race, stress, salt intake, excessive salt intake, alcohol, smoking and obesity. These are the risk factors for the primary hypertension. Next we'll see risk factor for the secondary hypertension, that is due to the secondary reasons, okay, due to the renal disorders. If the patient have renal disorder, they're prone to get this hypertension like that, okay. This is secondary, we call secondary hypertension. The hypertension will come due to the secondary health condition, okay. If the patient have endocrine disorders, no, he may get hypertension, okay. Then the cardiovascular disorders and the toxemia of the pregnancy. These are the risk factors for the secondary hypertension. Okay, next we'll see how to prevent. Okay, avoid excessive mental and physical strain. Okay, how? By modifying the lifestyle. If they have in the, for example, if any working woman have a lot of work, then she have to modify her time schedules. That is, we call modification in the lifestyles, isn't it? And the healthy, balanced diet they have to consume. This is what we have to avoid the stress by mental and the physical. Clear? Then, as much as possible, they have to consume low salt diet as well as low fat intake. Then avoid the alcoholism, no smoking, regular exercises is very important. Then create the awareness in the community. As a nurse, your responsibility to create awareness in the community. Okay. Then the self-care and the drug therapy. Okay. Next is a coronary artery diseases. In the short form CAD we can say. Okay. Is also called ischemic heart diseases. Okay, ischemic heart disease. So ischemia means inadequate blood supply to the local area of the heart due to the blockage of the blood vessels. Okay, or it is defined as acute or chronic form of cardiac disability due to an imbalance between the myocardial supply and demand of oxygenated blood as a result of narrowing and obstruction of the coronary arteries. See, the word is says coronary artery diseases, something impairment. This is artery of the heart, isn't it? No. So what happened? The demand of the oxygenated blood is more, but the supplying is a less here. So there is an imbalance between the demanding and supplying. No, that so that in that condition, this coronary artery disease will occur. Clear? So what are the etiology? Coronary atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis means what? It is a damage to the arteries. Why? Due to the fat deposition. If the patient have obesity, all the fat is going to be accumulated in the artery. Then what happened? There is no space for the blood circulation. The pressure is going to be created that may rupture the heart. That leads to ischemia, isn't it? So one is a coronary atherosclerosis condition, then non-atherosclerotic causes. We'll see what are the non-atherosclerotic causes. In here we can write the etiology in the two separate headings. It is a non-modified and the modifiable risk factors. Non-modifiable risk factors means what? We can't modify. Can't we modify our age? Can't we modify our sex? No. So in the age, all categories of the people, they get hypertension. And the hypertension is due to the coronary artery diseases. Okay, but usually the elderly people at the age of the 50 to 70 range, okay, they will get, and the sex both are equal only. Okay, male and female equally affected this CAD. Then hereditary and the race. These are the non-modifiable risk factors. And what are the modifiable risk factors? Hyperlipidemia. If the excessive fat in the blood serum level, we call hyperlipidemia. And the smoking, hypertension, lifestyle and the diabetic mellitus. These are the etiology or the risk factors for this CAD, coronary artery diseases. Okay. Next we'll see how to control. The primary prevention is a stop smoking. Okay. Control hypertension. Reduce the stress. Maintain the ideal body weight. Control the cholesterol level with a low fat. Then they control the diabetic mellitus. Next, secondary prevention is use a sedative to reduce the tension. Okay, by the physician order. Then use a lipid lowering agent. Is atorvastatin. Old statin. Okay, the drug is end with a statin. No, we have to give that is statin. All the drug is end with a statin that will giving to lowering the blood lipid level. Okay, so many examples, atorvastatin. Okay, so many examples are there. So this is will giving for why? To lower the lipid level in the blood. Okay, then use of a nitrates, nitroglycerin and the beta blockers, atenolol. Okay, atenolol we can give, and the calcium channel blocker, verapamil. Okay, then the some of the surgery, atherosclerotic, to remove the lipid in the particular blood vessels, we do some surgery. Okay. Next one is a blindness. What is blindness? Blindness is nothing but is a complete or nearly complete vision loss, visual impairment. isn't it? No, blindness is a complete or nearly vision loss. 20 by Snellen chart, according to the Snellen chart, 20 by 40, we can say this is a blindness. The person is unable to visualize the objects. Okay, visual impairment, complete vision loss. Then we'll see what is the causes. The causes of the blindness is in the infant, maybe the congenital defects, okay, congenital genetical disorders, and the cataract and abnormal enlargement of the eye. And in the school age people, xerophthalmia. What is xerophthalmia? Xerophthalmia is the drying of the eye due to the lack of vitamin A, isn't it? And malnutrition, vitamin A deficiency. Then in the adult, myopia. What is myopia? Is a short-sightedness. The person, he can see the near objects clearly, but his difficulty to see the far object, that is looks like a blur for him. Okay, that we call myopia, is a short-sightedness. And neurological diseases or the diabetic mellitus. These are the causes for the blindness. And in the late adult age, cataract. What is cataract? Opacity of the lens, isn't it? And the glaucoma and the diabetes. Okay. Then in the elderly persons, cataract, glaucoma, myopia, and the diabetics. Okay. Okay. This is the cataract, isn't it? Opacity of the eye. So this is leads to blindness. Not treated means that is leads to blindness. Now, so what is the prevention now? Don't use anyone else's towels or handkerchief. Okay. Then don't expose eye to the dust. Don't expose eye to the high light. Proper care of eye is very important. And proper and complete treatment of the eye diseases and use of vitamin A. Then avoiding the stress on the eyes by using, don't use don't use phone unnecessary, don't use no high LED and all, don't use. Just after using, as we all know, people are going to the online classes. Now each classes you should take some rest on your eye. Okay, so that prevents the stress on your eyes, isn't it? Okay, then next is a rheumatic heart disease. What is rheumatic heart disease? Is an inflammatory disease that occurs following a Streptococcus pyogenes infection. Due to the Streptococcus pyogenes infection, rheumatic heart will come. Rheumatic heart disease is occur. Okay. Okay. What are the risk factors we'll see? Predominantly in the children. Okay, predominantly we see rheumatic heart disease in the children. And the rheumatic fever. For once the streptococcal pyogenes, it is attacked to the person, that causes fever. If you're not at all taking the fever properly, if you're not at all taking the treatment, proper treatment for the rheumatic fever, that leads to rheumatic heart disease. That going to be spread in the heart. Okay, that will leads to rheumatic heart disease. Okay, then the inflammatory diseases and the rheumatic fever for the first year, that leading to the death. And now reducer is due to nowadays is very less. Why? Because the improved sanitation is there and the preventive health measures also there and antibiotics is there. So nowadays rheumatic heart disease, the prevalence is less now, incidence also less. Then what are the causes? As I told before, is the Streptococcus pyogenes infection. Keep it in mind, this bacteria name. Okay. Then what is the clinical manifestations? Clinical manifestation is the inflammation of the joint. The people have joint inflammation. They have a swollen joint. Okay, the joint become very swollen. They have the very pain in the joints and the fever. Then involvement of the layer of the heart. Also that involves the central nervous system, involvement of the subcutaneous tissue, the involvement of the skin also. Okay, then what is the prevention? The treated with the injection of benzathine, penicillin or erythromycin we can use to treat the rheumatic heart disease. Okay, then the health education, the personal hygiene is very important, and the good diet. Okay, I hope you understood this class. If you have any doubt, you can comment in the group. Okay. We'll see you in the next class. Till that, take care.